Hi all, it's currently 23:49 on the 24th of the 9th, 2025. Funnily enough, it's still the same day as I recorded the last vlog. Uh, oh no, my continuity. I hope everyone's doing well. I'm doing pretty decent, I've been up for most of the day. I've actually, my sleeping schedule has been pretty good so far. Excuse me. Speaking of, but no, I've been keeping awake for most of the day lately. Like what would happen is I get to sleep relatively early. Like sometimes I sleep around 1 or 2 or even before 12 at times, and I will wake up typically like 5, 6 a.m. and then I will get up. I'll maybe play some games or whatever, or maybe I'll stay in bed. I'll help Lucy. I do my morning routine with Lucy, who is there. She's at her ear. Lucy, stop at your ear. Yeah, she's got bad allergies. If you see one of her ears is flopped over, that's because she dug it so much with her with her nail that she damaged permanently. So we have to try and keep an eye on her to stop her from doing that. So she's getting her medicine, so that's what I try to give her in the morning. Give her a medicine, take her, get her out and feed her and stuff like that. And then I'll go back to bed. Alright. Oh. Yeah, that's what I do in the morning. And then that would usually be about 9. I'd crawl back into bed. And then around 12, I'd actually wake up rather consistently without an alarm, which is strange. Like normally I'd need an alarm to get up. No me to yawn. Yeah, normally I'd need an alarm to wake up, and even then I'd delay it for 5 minutes, then another 5 minutes, and another 5 minutes. I'm terrible with that. Yeah, I do that, and but no, like I just wake up at 12, and the last 2 or 3 days I've just been able to just get up and stay awake for most of the day. Like I'd play games from like 1 p.m., 2 p.m., all the way to like now, at like 10 p.m. or 8 p.m., and I'd have dinner and everything. And it's very strange. It's a very weird sort of like way my body is working, like the circadian rhythm. A circadian rhythm is sort of like the natural way your body sort of flows and the natural sort of scheduling that it flows by. So my circadian rhythm has sort of like flown this way, and it's strange. It's so weird. Like no, this is 2 or 3 days ago when I woke up at 12. I was like, because I woke up in bed, I was like, I don't know where my phone was. I was like, oh, it's bright out, but it's probably like 8 p.m. or something, or 5 p.m. And I checked my phone. I was like, it's 12. I'm gonna get up. I was like, what is this? So it was really, really nice to have that. Really, really nice to have that sort of like, oh, I'm up now. I'm okay. Um, but yeah, that's lovely. Um, I'm on there. I've my friend there in Discord. I'm deafened now, so he can't hear me, and I can't hear him. But we were talking about a bunch of different stuff. So we were talking about, for example, the party. I don't think I mentioned that too much. I can't remember. But basically, the party I was at for on Saturday. It was on the 20th. Saturday, yes. Basically, my girlfriend's sister, she has cancer, and I think I mentioned this before. I think I did, but she had a big Make-A-Wish party, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned this before, but I'll talk about it again anyway. Basically, the party was absolutely incredible. It was absolutely incredible. Like it was like so well done. Between all the different like cakes, like the little Krabby Patties, because the theme was sort of SpongeBob. Sort of like the invite I was sent out was SpongeBob themed, the little Krabby Patties, but it was like overdone. Like there was no SpongeBob music playing. There was no like people dressed up like SpongeBob or whatever. But it was like cardboard cutouts, of some of the characters, which was cute. It was really cute. It was really funny. When we were talking about that, I was talking about how incredible it all was. How like I got to meet all of their family again. Because the last time I met it was at my girlfriend's party back in January, and at that point I was kind of nervous, so I didn't really get to enjoy it completely. Plus, it was because it was my girlfriend's party; she was sort of mingling a bunch, trying to talk with her guests. So I was a bit like, "What do I do?" But I had to be there. Whereas this was, I was able to spend so much time with my girlfriend, and there was times where there was songs playing, and I'd be there with her, and because she is on crutches, so she'd be sat down, and I'd be like swinging out of her in the chair. Or I think my favorite one of my I think my second favorite moment, because that was my favorite moment when we were in the chair swinging out, to dancing, is we were in the middle of the dance floor. It's this big ballroom, and we were in the middle of the dance floor, and she gave me her hands, and I lifted them, and so she was fully reliant on me, and we were doing like this sort of that movement, and her crutches were just swinging everywhere. They were just swinging completely, just like flopping about. Well, not flopping, but you know what I mean. And because her like arms are so thin, um, they nearly like fell off. So a couple times you had to readjust, but it was so fun just we dancing with her. And it's funny as well because she's like uh very much she'll only dance or sing after a few drinks. And she says to herself, but it's so much fun. It was so incredible. I loved her so much. Um, oh, it was incredible. But I absolutely loved that. But yeah, the party was absolutely incredible. And then we were talking a bit about the some of the games we've been playing lately. Like he's playing something an Avatar game, that movie that's like 2 or 3 hours long. Um, I explained the game based on that. Well, I've been playing a little bit more Borderlands and Dead by Daylight and stuff like that. Um, we've just been sort of chilling. And I think that's one of the nicest things is to just sit in a call with someone and just chill. You don't need to be doing the same thing. You don't need to organize stuff. It's just being in the same space as someone, or space, vocal space, I guess, audio space, digispace. It's just nice. It's relaxing. It's like it means a lot. Like this is what I guess this is like what people talk about when they say going out for a coffee. Because for one, I can't drink coffee. You know, um, I can drink tea, but coffee is like so strong, and even if I just have a bit of the foam, like if my girlfriend gets like an iced latte or like a frappe or whatever it is, I don't know, or coffee or whatever, and I get a little bit of the foam, I will get a headache, and I will my mood will go whoop. I'll get so much energy, and literally like a couple of minutes later, I'll crash out, and I'll hard crash out. My mood will be gone. I'll be low energy. I'll be fucked, absolutely fucked. So I don't literally go out for coffee, but this is sort of what I imagine. It's people talking, talking, just relaxing, being able to talk about what's going on in the world around them, being able to talk about what they enjoy, stuff like that. And it's like it's a social aspect that I've never really. And I don't say never, but I haven't really had in the last, like when I was much younger. Like I'm 25 now, but when I was a wee lad, so like let's say 12 years ago, when I was in primary school, um, I wasn't a big socializer. I didn't really have friends over too much. I didn't really go over to friends' house too much or too often. I would mostly spend my time either on YouTube or, on my laptop or whatever, or watching TV. I did go out, but not like I wasn't a social kid. I preferred my own space, which fair enough. makes sense as well with the autism diagnosis uh, that I had when I was 17 and stuff. Much later on. But like I was never really much for just interacting, or socializing. And even like when I was in sixth class, like we had a new school, and there was a giant playground, and all the kids were out, and I think it was like 40-minute playtimes, or as the Americans would say, recess, and we don't say that here in Ireland. But basically there was the tarmac, there was the grass, and then there was like a grate, not a grate, like a cement sort of drain away, right? So the idea is that if there was the water would drain into that, and that was it. Also sort of just outlined the playground. Well, the amount of it just doesn't show the autism in me. I don't know what will. The amount of um lunches and breaks I'd spend walking around in a square, following that um the cement, just the line, the outline, over and over and over and over and over and over again. And I did it day in, day out. It wasn't just like a one day I did it. No, it was like there was like that's all I really remember. I don't remember really talking with anyone or playing tag or chase or hide and seek. Not that you couldn't, because it was literally just a flat playground, I don't remember any of that. I just remember walking around in a square, you know? And there were a couple times where a teacher would say like, "Hey, are you okay? I noticed that you're walking around, and they're doing the job. They're making sure everyone feels included." And it's like, "Hey, do you want me to find someone for you to talk with and to play with?" And I turned around and said, "No, I'm okay. No thanks. Thank you though, but I'm okay. I can just keep walking." And off I went. And like, I, so I never really had that social aspect, to a degree, Like some people base their entire lives on the social aspect, on the socializing and stuff. I didn't. I was very comfortable with myself and comfortable with my own skin, you know. Um, so I never really went out of my way, which was strange. So now it's like 13 years later, and I'm actually like finding myself talking with people more frequently. And this isn't to say I was a social outcast. Like no, like people was like, "Oh, that's Leo. Leo's cool," And people would say like, I remember there was a St. Patrick's Day parade where because normally you go to a parade and it's like, oh, you're like trying to point out to people in the parade, and they're like, "Oh, hi, that's so and so, in the parade. Look at them, they're in a club." My mom was like saying how went to a parade once, and people in the parade, like the kids in the parade, were pointing me out. They were like, "There's Leo in the crowd." I was like, "What?" Like we're here to point at them and say, "Look, hi," and they were both. So many of them were pointing at me, and it's like, but I didn't really talk with them as much, At least I don't feel like it did. I don't feel like I made that much of an impact. But then, like, there's times like that, and I was like, oh, well, maybe, maybe we have more of an impact than we think. And maybe when people talk with you and you put in effort to talk with them, you get rewarded with the social aspect, and you get rewarded with this nice social aspect, which has no replacement, really. These connections, and this is getting deep now, but these connections that we make, that we talk with people, that we enjoy thoroughly, we are social creatures, and there's no real replacement for that. And yeah, It feels good. It feels good. It feels good to have the social now. That's not to say I didn't know what I was missing, because obviously I was happy enough to be on myself when I was a kid. But it's nice now. It's nice to be talking to people. It's nice to be socializing. It makes me sort of sad when I see people who, or other people who don't talk with people, who would rather just scroll on the phones or whatever. Like we had someone like that in one of the courses where they just stayed on the phone, they didn't talk. I tried to talk with them and they just nothing. You know, and it sort of made me sad because it's like I feel like they're missing out. You know, um, and I hope they all do okay. But I feel happy with myself now, that knowing that I've gotten to a stage where I can be happy doing stuff, talking to people, and I have people I can talk with. And all I can say is I hope that people watching this, or people who don't watch this, because not everyone's going to watch this. Not even like many people are going to watch this. Like what's my last few, like 10, 5 views. I think I have one of my old my vlog from yesterday. What is it? Vlog number 40. One view. One view. I'm pretty sure it's my girlfriend. Vlog 39 will say 7 views. The 40-second vlog. 42-second vlog. Because I was just like, oh, I just need to get something out. 7 views. Like at least 7 people saw that, and I hope at least those 7 people, well, at least one person saw that, maybe two. And I hope everyone who's seen that, and everyone who sees any of my vlogs, or anyone who haven't seen them, because that's the majority of people, I hope everyone just good. Like it's difficult. It's difficult to feel good. It's even more difficult to accept that there are bad days and do what you can to feel good. And I think that, as someone who is the big social person, or wasn't, I find myself more and more, uh, as I get older, 25 years old, technically a Zoomer, don't feel like it. Um, Socializing and finding connections and finding people to talk with is one of the most important things I found. Um, yeah. But look, it's now 0007, triple zero, 0007. It's 25th of ninth. Oh my god, is it Wednesday? Thursday. Oh, Thursday. Whoa. I'll leave it there. My poor friend has been in the call by himself for the last 18 minutes. But yeah, I'll leave it there. I'm gonna go hang out with him, go socialize myself, and then I'm gonna relax. I hope everyone's doing incredibly. Thank you all so much for watching. It means the absolute world, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, rest of your night, rest of your afternoon, evening, morning, whatever.